When I see this man, this barrister, Kenneth Okonkwo, the respect when I get for him before, and the love when I get for him before, if not 50%, I don't increase them to 150%. Arise News, they make some kind comment concerning this race. Now verse come out, he can't reply them. One question. Mr. Nnamdi Kanu wanna arrest. What be the thing when I go say he do now? Going to 3-4 years when I never release him. Which country go arrest person? They no carry and go court. They will just forget the case, forget the matter for jail or for sale for years. Go, not go, come, not come. Which country they do them? Nigeria. My people, he can reply then, talk to Igbo people and talk to the whole world. So make everybody see what they go on now. And the get reason, why they talk them. Because our government said they don't want what to happen for NSAS, make it happen again. But the way the thing don't they go like this, I just they pray. Say what to happen for NSAS, make it not happen again. Because we know how many people buy during that time. But there's something I want to let the whole world know as well. For a better Nigeria or for a country to change, something must happen. Because some leaders, they're not the year word. They need iron hand. And if you not do strong thing, that thing what they look for, you know go get her. If you remember Fela said, I don't walk by, but I won't go heaven. So how do you go to heaven if you not buy? A parable. Respect yourself. The corruption, when they go on for your own country, you know. People there abroad now, they enjoy light and water. Your country, you cannot enjoy light or water. I go leave on, I don't go talk too much on this video. Make we dive in and listen to Kenneth Okonkwo. I give him 150% love now after this speech. And I hope people go hear what he talk. And make una follow me share the video. Then, if you never subscribe, please quickly subscribe, share, comment, like. If you watch us on Facebook, press the button that said follow. And put on your notification bell. So that anytime when I put any program, you go down among the very first we go see him. For more update, share the video. Thank you. Let's watch him together. And we'll come back at the end.
Nigerians continue to explore ways of resolving the legal battle between Babalola SAN and human rights lawyer Dele Farotimi. After the visit of the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 general election, Peter Obi, accompanied by the Southwest coordinator of his campaign in that election, Shola Ibisini, to see Chief Babalola in Ado-Ekiti on Monday over Farotimi's ordeal. Sources say that during the 2-hour meeting between Obi and Chief Babalola, a consideration of truce was given on the condition that Farotimi retracts his not guilty plea and thereafter published the rebuttal in major newspapers. It was also gathered that before Peter Obi's visit, former President Olusegun Obasanjo and Catholic Bishop of Sokoto Diocese, Matthew Asen Kuka, had reached out to Chief Babalola on the same issue. The source also added that the duo also visited Farotimi, where he is kept in Ado-Ekiti prison. And Farotimi reportedly told Obi that he did not invite anybody to plead on his behalf. He further demanded that the case against him be withdrawn first as a precondition for his apology. Joining us now on this show is Deborah Soshuma, a lawyer and human rights activist. Good morning, Liberos, and thank you for joining us on the show. Good morning. Well, I don't need to rehash the details about the case. It's been in the public domain, developed many dimensions. The case itself speaks for itself. Now, what do you think of it? What will you say? What are your reflections on this, major case with regard to defamation?
Yes, first and foremost, like you said, the matter had been reflogged, overflogged in the public domain, so I really don't need to rehash definitions and legal and
the media is running a parallel trial court.
No, really, like I say here, whether we like it or not today, there are two courts. The court of law and the court of public opinion. Mm-hmm. The court of law, those called to the bar will do the business of law in the courtroom. But in the court of public opinion, whether those court to restaurants, court to anywhere, discuss the law. You can't stop them from discussing the law from their perspective and even passing judgment. So one has to be very careful in our society today, considering also because of the lack of confidence in the institution. So you can't excuse that away. It's happening. That's the new normal today in the world, really.
It's always been. It's not even a new normal.
Yeah, it's always been. But before now, you could say only the media could discuss it. Yeah. But today, anybody that has a phone can discuss it. Even if you don't have a phone, people. Yesterday, I was in a court in Ijebu. It was what we discussed all through while we were waiting for the court to sit. So anybody can, whether the media will always be accused of running a parallel court. It is any matter that is trending. You don't expect the media not to talk about it. They will always talk about it. But that said, I've always said that I like the move that Peter Obi had, taken to see how we can mend fences. But also, I also like the fact that you can't ask a man who is in chains to come negotiate. He'll be negotiating from a point of weakness. There's need to create a level playing field because you never can tell. Section 377 says that truth is a defense to defamation. And so you don't know the evidence that the man on the other side has. Even if you say, oh yes, he doesn't have. But he might have. So just give him the benefit of doubt. You can always refile. So if you withdraw the suit and say, okay, the charges and say, okay, since others have decided to mediate, I think I completely agree that you don't ask a man to go plead guilty when he insists that he's on his right, even though you're on your right. That I think the best way forward should be let all parties sheathe their sword for now, and then since the others like Peter Obi, Obasanjo, Bishop Kuka had stepped into the matter, let them explore that possibility of mending fences, and let's see. If at the end of the day, they are not able to achieve that, then parties can go back to their gunpowders and let the gun start blazing. That's my...
Your start. Okay. So let me go to Mr. Farotimi's statement where he says that the case against him be withdrawn first as precondition for his apology. What do you make of that? Do you think that should be, does he have merit? Not only does he have a case to answer in Ikiti, now he has a case to answer in Abuja, in Oyo, and perhaps even more will come as the days progress. But do you think that that's a fair deal? That at least the first instance, withdraw the case against me, and then I will apologize.
Yes, that's basically what I'm saying. It is good that he is also ready to, mediate. Because really, the cases, like you said, more will come. And no matter how worthy you are, I don't think you want to, be jumping from one court to another. Because for a matter like this, it becomes a matter at large. Depending on where the complainant is, he can decide to sue in Sokoto, in Zamfara, in Delta. So you wouldn't want to be jumping from one state to another or hiring lawyers to defend you, all over the federation. So I like the fact that he's ready to mediate. But like I said, okay.
Let me just come in because it doesn't seem to be happening. It looks like the case is getting hotter, and that's why. Because only recently we heard that an Abuja court has ordered that the books be seized and even proceeds and all that. So how possible, or is that a reality?
The first step happening? The first step is the big masquerade in the room. Chief Babalola is saying. So if the whole issue revolves around Chief Babalola, every other those mentioned are ancillary to the main issue. So if the issue of the Peter Obi and Co had gone to visit him, if that is done and done successfully, I think others can, be handled. But like I said, it is also I can completely agree that the charge, first and foremost, should be withdrawn, so that you give him also a level playing ground to negotiate. My professor in school those days, late Professor Iboni used to say, that you don't negotiate with a man in prison. That for him, Abiola negotiating from prison the terms of the June 12th election was a no-no for him. That the first he could have done would be allow me go home, consult with my people, and then I come with my team. But negotiating from, it's like, you don't even have the strength to negotiate. So I agree with his position on that. But I also agree that it is something, a matter that he wouldn't, no matter the strength, it's not something I would encourage him to go the whole, hog of jumping from this court to the other court. Because apart from this, if you look at the issues clearly, there are also elements of contempt as fisher. So those ones are still courier.
Contempt away from the face of the court.
From the face of the court. So either in Lagos or in Abuja. Yeah. So all of those are still away from the issues. So I think the best step should be to really find the middle ground. So even the damage has been done, whatever it is, and also if you talk about like I said, Section 377 is still there as a defense for him, which is why I believe strongly that he should be allowed to negotiate from the prison.
Is it because why? I mean, so please, you might say I'm very violent in social media parlance. I mean, is it because some truth might come out maybe when this trial starts that we're saying, let's go for negotiation, or we just want cool heads to prevail? Because some people, some parts of society will have thought that, let's even see what's happening in the judiciary. Let Dele even show us what he's got. And if he's got nothing, he should be able to account for it. Because we have also seen a case like that, my brother Liboros, in this country. And that was how one person went to sue for defamation against some newspaper guys. And the newspaper guys, okay, we meet you in court. And they provided evidence that led the person that sued for defamation to go to jail.
Also,
that case happened for this country.
That's another option. But like I said, yes.
And the person that was not sued for defamation went to jail.
And if like I said, I kept repeating Section 377. If the issues is the truth, like in the case of, I think was it Body George or so, the court said there's been conviction. So if somebody uses the words complained of, that there is no what do you call it? That is the truth, since you've already been convicted. Also, in the case, there was a matter between Afe Babalola, Professor Lorode, and Guardian newspaper or so in Ibadan, when Afe was chairman, governing council of Unilag, where he, lambasted ASU, and Professor Lorode, wrote a rejoinder, and he took Professor Lorode to court in Ibadan. Eventually, they met in court, but the matter was resolved. But what I am saying, I'm not saying that if Dele has evidence, he shouldn't be allowed to. It's an option he can take. It's a clear option. And if he has evidence strong enough to withstand the allegation that he has raised, so well and good. Let the fact, like some people will say, let this blow. Yes. But like I have said also, at the end of the day, what if
and he gets to suffer for it, he
doesn't have any evidence, and then the cheerleaders, the crowd would urge him on. Go, Dele, and then when, like they say, when the ovation is loudest and there is nothing to show, who will suffer? It's not me, it's not those
defamation, that's justification. As you have pointed out, truth, absolute truth, absolute privilege is another defense. Fair comment is another defense. Absence of malice is another defense. So that will be resolved by the court if the matter goes to trial. You said something. You said if Chief Afe Babalola, who is a big figure in the case, if he settles with Farotimi, those other people, the matter can be sorted out. How? Because now we have a number of cases. We have the Ekiti cases, 2, Magistrate Court, High Court. You have Adenekpekun SAN in Ibadan, or your state judiciary. So do you say
that one is a civil matter?
Yeah. Do you say yes? There's civil defamation, there's criminal defamation. Yeah. Do you say, once Afe Babalola settles with Farotimi, Adenekpekun will just say, okay, it doesn't matter, he's going. There's also Ogunwumiju, SAN in the Federal High Court in Abuja, that of Justice Kekemeke. Do you think Ogunwumiju will say, Chief Afe Babalola said, one of the things you've been doing is painting this as Goliath and David matter. No. Is it strictly that? No, that's one clarification. Okay. The second thing is in Justice Kemekeke's court that Ugo USA went to. He filed an ex parte motion seeking an interlocutory injunction that the books should be withdrawn from bookstores, the books should not be circulated again and all of that, which is the main substance, the rest of this whole defamation. Do you think that on the basis of an ex parte motion that Justice Kekemeke we seem to have gone a bit overboard? After all, the court does not act in vain. Do you think the court of Justice Keke in this case will seem to have acted in vain? Because that book, maybe in some places, is on Amazon. How do you enforce it?
Exactly. So to answer your first question, while these people you mentioned, we all know worked on that affair. So if, like I said,
that they worked on that, it means they don't have rights.
They have a right. They have a right. But if at the end of the day, the main person in the suit says, look, I have resolved and I have forgiven this man, provided the condition. Yes, I agree with you. Provided certain conditions are met. And he now calls these same people to say, look, in the spirit of all of this that have been said, I will appeal to you. It's an appeal, it's not compulsion. That's what I'm saying. It is a step forward. It's a way forward to resolving if truly parties are willing to resolve and mediate. But it is not compulsory that they must do that. But that's why I also said that for Dele, it will, go a long way in helping. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to be jumping from one court to the other, defending issues. And then on the issue of Justice Kekemeke, first and foremost, when issues like this happen, once there's a complaint, the essence of is to stop further damage. There's a complaint that this, if you wait to hear the other party, the damage will be irreparable. So just grant me another. Let me give an everyday example. Your landlord says, leave my house while you're rent.
Very notorious.
So that's the everyday example that our viewers can, relate to. Leave my house. And you say, no, my rent is still subsisting. He says, well, don't worry, I will remove the roof. Now you build house for me. And so the man brings carpenter. You rush to court and say, look, court, please grant me an order. The carpenters are already on my roof. If you wait to call the landlord, the deed would have been done. In fact, they remove one section. So that's what is happening here.
That's are meant for urgent.
So in this case,
what is urgent in this case?
In this case,
for a book that is gone.
That's what I'm coming there. In this case, the book had gone already and it's still going. But the big question is, for those that are selling it outside jurisdiction, how will such order restrain them? That is challenge, and that's where we say today the world is a global village. Yeah. You can restrain somebody here, but there's another person in America who will tell you, I'm not even aware of this, and because the book is online. So there were those days where you say, it's hard copies only, and so you go back to the publisher. In this case, the book is even self-published. So you say the publisher should be restrained because in most cases you even sue the publisher. But in this case, the book is self-published. So that ex parte order would, act, maybe midway because the horse had already bolted. Right. So that's the challenge there. But like Nigeria, so that it doesn't look as if the court
would answer Dr. Bazi's question. No. You have no, see, you are doing like a lawyer. Lawyer, you will do color.
No.
You are doing like a lawyer. The question he asks, is direct. He said, was that ex parte necessary? What was the urgency of giving that ex parte in the first place?
No, it is.
He's questioning the bona fide of that ex parte.
No, it is necessary. It is necessary.
How?
It is now there is an ex parte on application. Because if you say because the horse has bolted, and so allow it to consistently bolt, so you also deny justice to the person who is alleging that he's been defamed.
But you don't know. Maybe Dele Farotimi has evidence to back up.
That is why why does it just listen to his side before you that is why there is an No. The way it works with is when you file an ex parte application, there's also what we call a motion on notice attached to the ex parte. Ex parte, that's why they tell you an ex parte is interim, pending the hearing and determination of the motion on notice. So once you file an ex parte, the ex parte is to ensure that the rest is protected. And then you now say, now I've granted ex parte, stop what you're doing, come and answer to this claim. So if you come to court and then Dele is able to show that the ex parte was in the first place, there was no need to grant it, then because the court will always hear him. But you don't say, because in some cases, the court will say, well, these issues have been defeated and so put the other party on notice. But in this case, it's a book and the man felt, I have been defamed, I've been libeled, and if you say put him on notice, the book is still selling. So even though there are areas that book had gone to that you can't stop, but for the area you are in, there's need for the court to act, to defend, to protect, pending when you call the other party to or put him on notice. So it is not that once you grant ex parte, you will not hear the other party. An ex parte, you can't file an ex parte application without a substitute motion on notice. There must be a motion on notice attached to it.
Ex parte orders have been abused routinely.
Yes, they have been abused. I agree with you.
President of the Court of Appeal to advise severally.
Not just the President of the Court of Appeal,
to be careful.
Former Supreme Court Justices, Justice Kanu, Justice Waifo had consistently abused, advised judges not to abuse ex parte order. I remember the ex parte order of Justice Ekpa as far back as 1992. So, ex parte orders are abused, but that does not also mean that where necessary, ex parte orders should not be granted pending the hearing and determination of a motion on notice.
All right. So now going back to this resolving the defamation allegation and coming to the negotiation table, what some people might also say is that beyond the issue between Chief Afe Babalola and Mr. Dele Farotimi is the fact that the judiciary was also under trial, especially in the way that they handle the case. Going back to the David and Goliath analogy, it was said that, because we often say that the law is the last hope of the common man, but it doesn't seem like that anymore to a number of people, because if you have power, you have influence, and then you are able to exert extra force, as it were. How about the other part? If we settle, yes, Mr. Farotimi goes, Chief of Babalola is appeased, but how about the spotlight on the judiciary? Because this is just one of many other cases that could happen. Could it mean that if a common man does something, if you have influence and power, you can exert that much, and then there's no sense of justice for a lot of people?
If you go back to the fact of the matter, whether the matter at the Supreme Court now, and that the application to correct the error in the judgment, for me, it wasn't out of place. We all apply to court to correct errors. Even application, you can even bring an application to amend claims. So if there's an error in a judgment that is at variance with your claim, you can apply to court to correct that error. That's not a miscarriage. But like I agree with you also, that when a judge, Lord Dele, as long ago said, when a judge sits on trial, the judge is on trial. Yeah. When you're trying a matter, the entire world is trying you. But the issue here is, yes, parties are allowed to make fair comments, justifications. That's what had happened here. That's why we sit down here when judgment is delivered in a matter. We sit down, we look at the judgment, we weigh it against the precedent, that had been given by the same court, and then we make fair comment. But when it's alleged to be beyond fair comment, that's where the problem is. And that's what I'm saying. Yes, this is consistently, it's always been trial for judiciary and the society at large. And also, I would also think that, because Justice Kanu once said, behind every allegation of bribery against a judge, there's a senior advocate who is a conveyor belt. Mm-hmm. But he didn't mention names. That's a fair comment. That's allegations that there is some person, because I also said that when you accuse judges of granting other frivolous orders, you also need to accuse lawyers who file the application, because the judges don't file application. It is a lawyer that filed the application. So I think this should be a learning curve for the society to understand that, look, if you do not self-censor, self-check yourself, today it is Dele, tomorrow it can be somebody you don't even know. Dele might have or might not have. Somebody can decide to say, okay, look, you know what, based on what had happened, I want to do, an investigative reportage on this issue and see what I can bring out. In this country, we've seen where judges, remember Justice Pendigi, allegations between judges and the news, was it the news, those allegations of conversations, and the NJC, sat on the matters, and senior lawyers were disciplined, judges were dismissed.
Okay. So I think going further, one of the other things that I wanted to bring out was the fact that maybe we should do like what was done in Ghana, by a journalist called Anas. I'll tell you what Anas did.
I know what he did.
Anas broadcasted a Ghanaian movie, Life in the Cinema, which was secret recordings of judges all over the country collecting bribe. And it was played right there in the cinema with real actual evidence. Secondly, I want to talk about a concept called intimidation as corruption, because one other thing we don't talk about in the judiciary is most of the time it's not money or allegations of money that causes the corruption. It's the intimidation of the dramatics personnel by the stature of the people involved. That is the corrupt tendency there.
Bufai, in every society, no matter how fair that society is, there are certain persons who has paid their dues in certain fields. That, just like you now, there are some places you will enter. You have, journalists. You'll be given a right of first refusal, even though we're talking about fairness and balance. You'll be given a right of first refusal. But for some persons, they will say, Rufai came here to intimidate us. Who does he think he is? But because of what you have, you have paid your dues. Also, in practice, it happens. Law is a profession of precedent. I get to court. Why do you think some of us do no longer enjoy going to court over, small matters? Because you get to court, you're junior. No, not big boy. You're junior, who's a senior advocate, will get to mention his case. He walks into the court, he will mention his case, and he will walk away. While your number is number 46, you will be there in court till maybe 3 p.m. And, that's for you. You have other things to do in the office. But you are there. It's intimidation also. They
must give the gross SAN. That's what you do. So you requested for it.
It's a privilege. It's not a right. So we all work for it. We all want to be. So there are certain things. I agree that this society and the profession, they have a lot of problems. The allegations of bribery, the allegations of intimidation.
But to wrap up, I just need one more clarification. In this whole Farotimi saga, another thing that people have talked about is the restraint. When he was returning, I think, to the magistrate court the other day, he was put in handcuffs. Now, was there the second time he wasn't put in handcuffs? Is there a justification for putting him under restraint?
That is
within the purview of Section 7 of Akaja.
That is the intimidation that Rufai is talking about now.
Because who was intimidating him?
Just to add to your question on that intimidation, also the case of the magistrate that has constantly detained him for a law that doesn't exist in Ekiti State.
If I have time, I would.
You'll have to be quick about it.
Yes. The handcuffs, that's why they are called restraining. It's only meant for either somebody is violent, so that he will not escape. But in this case, violence has been shown, and it's not also on record that the man has attempted to escape. Putting him in handcuff or further worsen, the case of the prosecutor. It's like we are no longer prosecutors, we are prosecutors. When we see, people who are other people, high politically exposed people who are accused of corruption, and then you don't see them in such things. So I think that was intimidation from the correctional centers, especially, against when the states want to intimidate you, they do all sorts. We saw how Babalola was
placed persons,
yes, people, and that's why African China said poor man when steal Maggie, you will see him face for crime fighter. So that's basically what is playing out here.
So the issue is it because it's Dele Farotimi? Because if you steal a phone, they will put you in handcuffs.
No, yes, you see that is the society. As we speak now, there are some persons who are in custody over Section 24 of the Cybercrime Act. We're not talking about them.
Farotimi is huge. You know that this issue has to do with Babalola's firm. And that firm involves so many lawyers. So their plan is to be suing Dele Farotimi one after the other, meaning that they might end up dragging Dele Farotimi all the days of his life, going to court. So this lawyer is saying that Peter Obi going to intervene is very strategic because that will help to, to douse the tension, and then they can settle out of court. So guys, you can see that fighting corruption in this country is really going to be very, very difficult if this be the case. So guys, you have seen it for yourself. Yes, these are some of the things we are saying, that in Nigeria, fighting corruption is like, you taking up an everlasting job, a job you keep working and it will not have any end. So you can see, like, Okonjo-Iweala once said that if you fight corruption in Nigeria, corruption will fight back. And that is why people are not speaking up. People are not saying anything, People are afraid to say their mind in this country because they are afraid of the powers that be. They're afraid of what will become of them. They're afraid of the consequences of whatever. And that is why this country keeps sinking, because you will see what is wrong, but you can't talk. Because if you talk, it will fight back. I mean, corruption keeps fighting back in Nigeria. And that is why, see, for us to get this country right, we must have real leaders. Leaders that will come in to strengthen our institution and really make them independent. We need leaders that will come in and they don't even care about what the next person is doing. They are focused on doing the right thing. These are the kind of leaders that can come and purge our institutions so that our institutions can stand firm. And when something is going wrong, they can come out to say, yes, this thing is wrong. Not that you are trying to expose the rots in the system. And because of that, so many people will be taking you to court because they know you want to expose their secrets. So guys, I'm just wondering when this country is going to, recover from all this mess. Because what we are seeing now is just beyond us. I mean, it's beyond us what is going on in this country. The level of corruption. Look at, even WikiLeaks came out, bringing out information saying that after Babalola and Obasanjo once paid money to, to judges for elections to be rigged or for the wrong decision to be made. So you can imagine that is from WikiLeaks. And people have been commenting and saying that, why are they not suing WikiLeaks? Why is it only Dele Farotimi? Why is it only Dele Farotimi? So you can see, it's not as if what Dele Farotimi is saying is not true. It's not as if Dele Farotimi said, take me to court, I'm going to prove my case. But the plan they are planning now is to use all kinds of lawyers to sue him here, sue him there. So before he's coming out from this one, he's entering another one. And then Dele Farotimi is going to spend all his life attending to court cases and moving from here to there because he wants to save Nigeria democracy. So guys, you see, some people will just say it's even better not to fight for this country. Just be on your own, because there is nothing you do, if you are genuine, this country does not favor you. If you are genuine and you want Nigeria to work, it won't favor you. But if you are fraudulent and your hands are soiled and you are into all kinds of things, guess what? It's going to favor you, and favor you easily. And that was why we saw, even during the 2023 presidential election, we saw Peter Obi winning, and all of a sudden everything was reversed. And up to today, INEC has not told us what happened. And up to today, the Judiciary has not told us why they ruled the way they ruled, telling us that Beavers is not necessary, IREF is not necessary, FCT is not necessary, and all that, all kinds of things that Nigerians least expected in that judgment were what we were given to. So you can see that, honestly, fighting corruption in Nigeria is another headache on its own. I just hope that this case will come to an end. So guys, I hope that this case, as the way it is going now, I think people are just saying that it's better the setting of court, because going through the court process in Nigeria, even though Dele Farotimi knows what he's saying and has his facts, but guess what? The powers that be, they know how to tweak everything and make it to suit them, make it to go in their favor. And that is why people are somehow being skeptical, over Dele Farotimi's future. If he's going to end his life going to court every day because he's trying to expose the rot in the system. So guys, let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell. Please give this video a like so that YouTube can recommend it to others. And drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you.